vile, disgusting acts. How could you ever justify the actions of these men at this time?
What do you mean justify it? I think it's totally appropriate.
Appropriate?
Yeah, they got totally screwed over during the Reconstructive era after World War I. I don't understand what the big deal is. To me, this is just a bunch of happy people hanging out on a boat.
Happy people on a boat? Will you listen to yourself? How could you call these people okay? How could you just refer to them as happy with everything that we've seen?
Oh, everything that we've seen, like what? Like their camaraderie? Like their ability to make amazing technology for the world? That's what you're talking about?
I'm talking about reprehensible facts that are on the record that you are just blatantly ignoring.
Oh, on the record. I'm sick of you and your Black Army helicopters. And why don't you go put some tinfoil on your head and go live in the forest if that's what you're going to do?
I'd be happy to put tinfoil on my head if you remove the blinders from your eyes.
Oh, give me a break, will ya?
Adolf Hitler was a menace to society and one of the most reprehensible human beings who have ever been conceived on this planet.
Oh, reprehensible human being. Have you ever met him? You ever met the man? Guess what? I have met the man, and I can tell you he is nothing like the horrible boogeyman stories that everyone makes him out to be.
How is that possible?
How is that possible? I'm a close personal friend of Adolf Hitler's, okay? I know exactly what he's doing. I understand his mindset. He is doing this for the betterment of not only the German people, but also for the world.
Well, if you're such a good friend of him, why don't you call him up right now?
I would, but I'm busy. We're calling a match here.
Of course, fans, part of the great content package you get with our network is access to movies such as the wonderful and heart-wrenching Steven Spielberg film Schindler's List.
Oh, Schindler's List. Give me a break, would you? What a terrible hatchet job that was at history. No, I'd say very little of that was historically accurate.
Oh, really? Would you care to enlighten us? Exactly what were we missing out on by watching that?
Liam Neeson looked a little like him. That was about it. Other than the fact that they never worked in a factory, all right? You know why? Because they took good care of them where they were. They didn't have to leave.
For 70 years after the tragic events of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, some people still, to this day, feeling that impact.
Oh, yeah, of course they're feeling that impact. They dropped 2 A-bombs on them, for God's sake. I mean, you want to talk about war atrocities, you want to talk about terrible things visited upon a people, talk about World War II in Japan.
Well, come on, even you've got to admit that sometimes, inevitably, the ends have to justify the means.
Oh, listen to you, Mr. Good Guy, with all of your, we should treat people fairly, you and your ends justifying your means. There were so many people who didn't deserve to have their life ended there. They were a part of the Empire of the Sun, and they deserved to live.
So that's your only justification for this, is the fact that just that they were in that country, that automatically makes them guilty.
Things should just be fair. That's all. Things just have to be fair all across the board.
Okay, fine. If that's how it's going to be with you, then explain this to me. Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor, they had it coming.
They had it coming?
They had it coming, yeah. They were putting all sorts of crazy trade embargoes on them, making all sorts of weird rules for their natural gas. Of course they deserved it. They deserved absolutely 100% of that attack. In fact, I'd argue that it didn't go far enough.
They had no warning whatsoever. It was an early Sunday morning. There was no way that they could have protected themselves.
How would you attack them? Would you post flyers? You fucking moron! You want to talk about unfair treatment? Talk about the Japanese internment. Thousands upon thousands of Japanese U.S. citizens were locked up indefinitely without any kind of a warrant, any kind of a notice.
Well, look, there are always going to have to be exceptions made during wartime.
Oh, during wartime. Oh, yes, during wartime, everything's acceptable. We should all just wear pajamas to work, and we should wipe our ass with kittens. And talk about strange bedfellows, allying yourselves with Russia, Joseph Stalin, one of the worst people who's ever existed. You can actually justify teaming up with him to take us down?
Of course we can. We have to utilize the assets that are given to us.
Oh, you're stumbling all over your words here. You know exactly what happened there. You all ganged up on us so that you could take over the world instead of us, who had a better right to.
Us?
Yeah, us.
Who are you a part of? Of course, we're well aware of the American influence that took over once Reconstruction began.
Oh, yeah, the American influence, because little old poor us over here, Japan, we never would have figured it out for ourselves without great big brother America coming to help us.
Can you at least acknowledge the idea that the United States had some help in the matter.
No, I can't acknowledge that, alright? You drop bombs, you kill innocent women and children, and now we're supposed to thank you? Yeah, why don't you get off your high horse and go get a sundae?
I'm not on a horse.